morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television and this is the Janata Bulletin SD with it's me Anusa Acharya. The top stories first. Lower House endorses budget with majority votes. Main opposition UML continues its protest in Parliament. UML leaders discusses proposal on statute amendment. Suggestions will be presented in the Central Committee meeting. Federal capital Kathmandu becomes fully literate district. Sindhupalchok was the first district to become fully literate. India to resume exports of coronavirus vaccines in October. Surplus vaccines will be provided to fight the global pandemic. And England's cricket team withdrawn from Pakistan white ball tour. Calls of Pakistan tour over security concerns. And now the news in detail. The House of Representatives has passed the Appropriation Bill 2078 BS with majority votes. A report. A meeting of the House of Representatives yesterday passed the proposal tabled by Finance Minister Janata Sharma despite obstructions from the main opposition party CPN-UML. Responding to the queries raised by lawmakers during the deliberation, Finance Minister Janata Sharma said that the incumbent government has revised only 3% of the budget introduced by the erstwhile government headed by KP Sharma Oli. He said that the government has given top priority to people's aspirations while amending the budget. Speaker Agni Prasad Sapkota announced that the budget has been endorsed by majority votes. This has paved way for the government to spend the budget. The government was observing budget holiday since last week as the bill could not be endorsed earlier. Finance Minister Sharma had presented a budget of Rs 1.63 trillion through a replacement bill on September 10. With the endorsement of the bill from the lower house, it will now be sent to the National Assembly for approval. It will come into effect after endorsement from the upper house. Meanwhile, the lower house meeting was approved two other bills the same day. The meeting approved the Finance Bill 2078 and the Bill to Mobilize Internal Loans 2078 proposed by Finance Minister Sharma. Speaker Agni Prasad Sapkota has fixed September 23 for the clause-wise deliberations on the Finance Bill 2078. The Standing Committee meeting of the main opposition party CPN-UML yesterday held discussions on three different proposals for the National Statute Convention. Members of the Standing Committee discussed about the three proposals presented by UML Chairman KP Sharma Oli at the party's office. Following the discussions, the Standing Committee members of UML provided suggestions to the Publicity Department Chief of the party Yogesh Bhattrai regarding the statute amendment proposal, organizational structure, proposal and political proposal. Leader Bhattrai said that the suggestion given by the Standing Committee members of UML will be incorporated in the proposals and then presented in the upcoming Central Committee meeting on September 24 and 25. Following approval from the Central Committee, the proposals will be presented in the Statute Convention salted for October 1 to 3. Kathmandu District has achieved full literacy rate. According to the government data, the capital has become the 55th fully literate district among the 77 districts in the country. A report. Minister for Social Development of Bagmati Province, Vijay Suvedi, declared Kathmandu a fully literate district during an event yesterday. The district was declared a fully literate district after all municipalities and rural municipalities achieved 96.88% literacy rate. There were only 18,053 people who remained to be literate in the district, said Nandalal Paudel, Chief of Education Development and Coordination Unit of Kathmandu District. The Literate Nepal campaign aims to educate as many people as possible between the age group of 15 and 60 years in the country. Any district that achieves over 95% literacy rate is declared fully literate district. Sindhupalchok was declared the first fully literate district in the country in 2015. Currently, the literacy rate among the youths of 15 to 24 years stands at 95% and literacy rate among the adult 15 to 60 years stands at 82%. To be eligible to become literate, one must learn the alphabets of the mother language or national languages, must be capable to write one's own name, must be capable to use calculator and cell phones, learn the numeric from 0 to 9, be able to count from 0 to 100 and maintain simple leisure among others. Also, one must be able to read posters, signboards, traffic signals, tell time by looking at watch and learn to read calendar among other criteria. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 975 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Likewise, 2,957 persons recovered from the disease during this period. With this, a total of 752,170 people have fully recovered in Nepal. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the recovery rate stands at 95.5% in the country. As per latest update, the number of active cases of coronavirus in the country stands at 22,323. Among them, 20,891 are in home isolation and 1,432 in institutional isolation. According to the ministry, 371 patients are receiving treatment in ICU while 108 are receiving ventilator support. Total death toll from COVID-19 has reached 11,048 with 8 fatalities reported yesterday. And now the news from economic front. The Asian Development Bank has approved a loan of $60 million as an additional support for an ongoing electricity grid modernization project that is upgrading power transmission and distribution system in Nepal. According to the ADB, the ongoing project, which was approved in November 2020, is automating 34 existing grid substations across Nepal. Under this project, the government has been completing the installation of smart meters in the Kathmandu Valley, upgrading transmission lines and establishing an electricity distribution system command and control center. The additional financing will scale up ADB's support to provide reliable, efficient and sustainable electricity supply in Nepal, said ADB's principal energy specialist for South Asia, Jivan Acharya. According to the ADB, the increased funding will help construct 16 kilometers of 130 kilovolt transmission lines from Nepalganj to Kohalpur and from Chovar to Lagankhel in order to expand the scope of the original project. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back now, the international news. India, the world's largest vaccine producer, will resume exports and donations of surplus coronavirus vaccines in October, the country's health minister said yesterday. India had halted the export of vaccines during a devastating surge in domestic infections in Nepal. Health minister said the surplus vaccines will be used to fulfill India's commitment towards the world for the collective fight against COVID-19. He, however, said vaccinating Indians will remain the government's topmost priority. India was expected to be a key supplier for the world and for the UN-backed initiative aimed at vaccine equality known as COVAX. It began exporting doses of January but stopped doing so to inoculate its own population during a massive surge in infections in April that pushed India's health system to the breaking point. The halt in exports left many developing countries without adequate supplies and delayed vaccines for millions of people. Before halting exports, India donated or sold 66 million vaccine doses to nearly 100 countries. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. England have withdrawn their men's and women's team from cricket series in Pakistan that were due to take place in October. The men's team were set to make their first trip to Pakistan since 2005, while the women had never before played there. On Friday, New Zealand men's abandoned the Pakistan tour because of the specific and credible threat. An England and Wales Cricket Board statement said they know there are increasing concern about travelling to the region. They also mentioned that they believe going ahead will add further pressure to our playing group who have already coped with a long period of operating in restricted COVID environment. England's men were using the Pakistan trip as part of the build-up for the T20 World Cup with fixtures on 13 and 14 October in Rawalpindi. The team was then due to play one-day international on 17, 19 and 21 October. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Lower House endorsed budget with majority votes, then opposition UML continues its protest in Parliament. UML leaders discuss proposal on statute amendment, suggestions will be presented in the Central Committee meeting. Federal capital Kathmandu becomes fully literate district. Sindhupalchok was the first district to become fully literate. India to resume exports of coronavirus vaccines in October. Surplus vaccines will be provided to fight the global pandemic. And England cricket team withdrawal Pakistan tour, calls off Pakistan tour over security concerns. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.